So funny. If you haven't seen it, I'll send you a copy. We're welcoming Chris Delaney to join us. He's going to be quiet for a couple of seconds, but welcome, Chris. And we've got him a glass of water. And
Yeah, the one on the left is yours. The
one,
colored
yeah.
one's mine.
Richard and I are sitting here talking about the digital rag and old computer war stories.
But in the recent articles and things that I've been writing, so can you trust the electronics anything that you buy that's electronic?
Well, look, Richard, you walked in tonight, and my inbox disappeared on my email.
Well, that's just plain dumb bad luck on your part, because you had 2 gigabytes of stuff in the inbox, and that's all it'll take. It decided that it was too much, and it just wasn't going to work that hard anymore.
But that doesn't make sense, because I cleared over 400 messages with movies and everything else out of that.
All that did was flag them to be deleted. You have to actually compress the file in order for it.
No, but I moved them to another.
It doesn't matter. They're still in the original file. That's just the way that's
the way it is. Okay.
Outlook
Well,
Express
anyway,
works.
I lost 1,500 messages in my inbox today, so I don't have to answer them now.
Isn't that nice? But anyway,
I think that's the best part.
Yeah.
Some of them were from Chris too, and some of them were from you. And I mean, my ex-wife, 2 ex-wives with messages there. I don't have to answer any of them.
That's 1,000 right there.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, the biggest problem that you've had over the years is that everything has run so reliably that you haven't been able to use that excuse. So today you get to use it. Just like everybody else who runs Windows, you get to use the excuse that the computer ate my homework.
It did.
That's right. There we go.
Well,
the Bobbsey twins.
Oh yes, there's Chris.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy, Chris. So you guys are both.
So you go to a trade convention.
Yes.
And
is this what's streaming?
No, oh yeah, no, that's.
I'm just scaring you.
Yeah. And somebody comes up to you and hands you a thumb drive.
Put the picture back here so we can see what's going on.
Hands you a thumb drive.
Yeah.
That and says, oh, here, just it's got some of my literature on it. Take it and so you take it home to your business.
You put it in, you get a virus.
3 months later, a Chinese company comes out with a product that's identical to yours. Yep, there you go, thumb drive.
Thumb drive, little one.
And what's happened is that there are trade officials, who are giving out not just virus-infected electronics, but Trojan-infected.
Yeah.
They've got software on them that literally goes through your PC and calls home and sends the information to them.
But you got this free thumb drive.
Well, you got a free thumb drive, we already know that these electronic picture frames that you can put your pictures on, they come out of the factories with Trojans and viruses
there was
on
a
them.
Big thing on that.
But that was actually not designed to be that way. It's just the way it turned out. But no, this stuff, they are actually putting things on there that are like rootkits. They install themselves in your PC, and you can't get rid of them. You don't know that they're there. And they surreptitiously go through your stuff, and they send it off. Well, they're not only doing things like the thumb drives, they've actually been creating bogus Cisco routers. Now, I don't know whether anybody understands what Cisco is. Back when Stuart and I had our internet company, really early, before we started getting bigger, Stuart made the comment that if we wanted to invest in the internet, we should buy Cisco shares. And he was so right. Cisco is the largest manufacturer of internet routing equipment in the world. Well, the Chinese have been making bogus Cisco routers with Cisco software in there, with their own flavor of stuff in them, so that when any packets that pass through these routers, they've been putting them out on the market on Craigslist and on eBay and that sort of thing, and selling them as if they were used.
Yes, I saw what you wrote about that.
And so an ISP buys this, a little ISP, not a big one, because the big ones deal with the Cisco guys directly, but the little ISP buys one of these things, puts it on the net, and anybody that connects through that ISP, their traffic, any interesting information is being sent off to China.
So if somebody was doing things like graphic novels or graphics or something of that nature, and sending it,
designing airplanes,
or sending it to a supplier or somebody remotely,
Well, like your
the
flag.
Chinese might grab it and have it reproduced.
That's right.
Before you even get it into your own commercial.
How long did
production.
it take you to get your flags done? 13 days, didn't you
Oh,
say?
it was absolutely. This is a real story, and we're going to finish.
And
on
I wrote
this.
that one too.
We're going to finish, and we're going to. Steve, and suddenly I can't remember his last name. I want to say Steve Miller, who's a paramedic and has a '57 Chevy ambulance. Chris, this is a great story, because you know I've had these U.S. Canadian flags, right?
The blended flag.
And I was buying them, and somehow or other, my supplier, who would charge me $2.50 a flag, $2 a flag with
A bamboo pole.
another $1.50 for the plastic holder.
Yeah.
They weren't available anymore. And Steve had arranged, first of all, he did 2,900 or 2,300 motorcycles on May the 29th for a ride for dads for prostate cancer. And I led that with my sheriff's car. And then he wanted to get these emergency vehicles in for September the 11th thing down at the Peace Arch. And I don't remember the exact day. I could look it up. Well, I can't now because I just lost. No, I can look it up. I've got it in the sent things. He phoned up and he wanted 300 flags. And I said, oh, I don't have 300, but I'd go find some. And I couldn't. My supplier just was unable to get them. They didn't have any. They said they'd been stopped at the border or something, maybe because it was a blended flag. And but I don't think that's anyway. So he said, oh, so he goes down to the flag shop. Now I've known Doreen and Jack Braverman for 8 years, and he went down to the flag shop and got a quote for 300 of the blended flags based upon the one I'd taken in. In the meantime, I had gone on the internet, found a guy in China. Okay, and this is like, we want them for September the 11th, and this is like August the 27th or something or other. And I said, and I got hold of, this is all email. I sent an email to this flag people in China and say, can you supply, 300 of these flags for me for such and such a day? And I get this thing, in fact, we can supply anything for such and such a day. And there's 3 different qualities, and I look at the quality. One quality is good for like 30 miles an hour, another quality is good for 50 miles an hour, another quality is good for 80 miles an hour. So my old flags were all disintegrating pretty quick.
I went through one in one day.
Yeah, so I decided, well, I'm going to get the 80 mile an hour ones for sure, which are double the price, but that's okay. Literally, by September the 9th, which was like slightly less than 2 weeks, I had delivered to this house
1,000 flags.
1,000 flags for
Yep.
$3,000.
You got one sitting down beside there.
Yep.
And these were manufactured where?
In China.
In China.
In China.
Yep.
And the flags came out. They're 4 times the quality of the ones I was buying. They came with a flagpole instead of having to buy, a car flag. And they just wear.
And all he
like-
did was take a picture of one of his other flags and send them the
Well, it's good,
the image.
It's good quality cloth too.
Oh, yeah,
sent,
it's excellent.
I sent the picture, but the picture that I sent we didn't use. We actually redesigned
He
it from
redesigned it,
scratch.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it is it's materially, but we did that. And there's one of the old ones up there. This is it is one too.
Yeah.
See, it's a little
Little
smaller.
smaller. But it's double stitched. It's heavier material, and
Yeah.
I mean it's
Denser
just
color too.
denser colors. Yeah.
And well, this had a holder, but not a car thing.
Yeah.
So this is the same quality, or as the ones they're selling at Canadian Tire and so on for $15 in
Yeah.
1995 and so on.
They probably make theirs in China too.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
Just
not-
mark them up.
Now here's the funny part. Someplace around September the 23rd, which was more than a month later, knowing the flag shop, knowing that they wanted them for September the 11th, sent a quote for 300 flags. You want to make a bet at how much the quote was? Remember, I got my 1,000 for one for $3,000. And it's paid for by my
$3
MasterCard,
units, yeah.
$3 a unit. So
Plus $200 shipping.
Yeah. Well.
Any HST on that yet?
no.
We're coming to that.
Get,
Yeah, we're
get,
getting there.
guess how much? I paid PST and GST to bring them in the country. Yeah.
Well, I can't even begin to guess.
Well, they wanted $6,000 for 300. And the
For
quality
300?
For
Yes.
300, the quality was no better.
So what are we talking unit price?
$20 a piece.
20 bucks a piece.
And they didn't come with the car holders; they were just a flag.
Yep.
And they would be like this, and it was. I mean, it was 2 weeks after the.
Where were they getting theirs made?
Well, I don't know. I imagine China as well.
Yeah, good
Maybe
question.
they might have been doing them themselves. I don't know.
Yeah.
But